Boys, when I'm blue and downhearted, I just reach and get my old Gibson guitar and play those weary, lonesome blues.
We met at a Sportsman's Bar where we were both working separately as
2003.
She and Shirley
Right.
and me and Cooch as carpenters. So we met there and kind of teamed up a few times, not very often, but we've been together 6 years.
My first opportunity to go out in the world and find myself, and there he was. He was just standing there.
Stalking.
He was. So my little fairy prodded me and went, "Go out with him." So I did.
And I knew enough to offer food because that was the hook.
It was all you can eat fish.
We do such different things, although we overlap a little bit with jewelry, but getting feedback from her is real important, you know.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sees things I don't.
And I have a tendency to be a little more aggressive with marketing and money and stuff like that, charging.
Bracing.
And she's more, you know, that doesn't look just right, you know, whereas, and presentation. I've learned a lot about presentation. Otherwise, I just throw it on the table. There it is.
And we have our creative sessions where we just sit, usually in the morning, having coffee, and we have to get the notepad out and start writing things down. And we don't do it all, but we've done some. And
I don't think we have a tendency to do our work separately.
oh yeah,
Mostly, but I don't recall much conflict as far as that goes. No, so.
my passion right now is definitely Halloween.
Okay.
I finally figured out what I want to do when I grow up. At the age of, I figured it out when I was 57. Not 57 anymore, but I love it. It's so much fun. People like really love it, or they walk away, which is fine, and then I tease them. The walker awayers. I get my supplies from yard sales, which is one of my favorite things to do. So the supplies are very inexpensive, and people now are giving me dolls, bags of dolls. It's a blast because everyone is different, so I don't get bored. And I sit in my studio and I feel like the mad scientist because I laugh to myself. I'll put something, I'm like, oh, you know. It's a blast. And they don't talk to me, but they tell me what they want me to do to them. Well, sometimes they do
got a
talk.
mechanism in them.
Yes.
I was walking through here one time, and all of a sudden I hear, "I love you," and I go, "Oh, really?"
Yeah, yeah. It was a little doll that was,
You know, motion detector thing
Oh
or
my
something.
God.
she was strapped to a board, and she had garden shears cutting her in half. And she would just all of a sudden say, "Play with me." And it was creeping me out. And then I realized she had motion detectors in her eyes, motion sensors in her eyes. So I would just cover up her eyes. But it just really gets my juices going. I think what caused the person to call the sheriff was I had a doll in a high chair sitting right out into the front area of the booth, which is actually where I was standing. And she was really a sweet old doll, and she had a little blood on her mouth, and she was holding a real silver fork with a bloody leg on it. And then in the little tray of her high chair, there were all these little bloody baby parts. And it was titled, Tastes Like Chicken. I thought it was funny. Apparently somebody didn't like that, so they called the sheriff. Or my friend Maria Marfia, she has a phrase that she says to people that don't like her work, and I'm using that phrase. It's, I didn't make it for you.
Watching my dreams go by, fading away in the sky. That's all I seem to do, for the dreams that I dream don't.
So I'm doing carving, sculpting, and I like looking at a piece of wood and seeing, you know, what does it tell you? And I also enjoy the little things. I enjoy making cutting boards by just laying out a board and seeing where the grain goes. So natural edge stuff. I have a hard time with straight lines. And each one of these pieces has a story to it. And I write them up so that whoever gets it has got the story too, you know. And I do funky things like this, you know. These are actually levels, and they still work as levels.
So how do you make something like that? What is that? Is that wood around that level?
Yeah, well, yes, it's an old wood level. So you just get them, you can get them anywhere, you know, yard sales. This was my first one, that's kind of cool. This still works.
He makes pipes.
Okay.
Pipes.
Tons
Okay.
of pipes out of all types of material. Well, wood, but all types of wood and all types of like
Very cool.
furniture legs.
This is the redneck water pipe.
It works really well, so I'm told.
Yeah.
This is a double,
don't know.
2 people furniture leg pipe.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
And they're fun.
They are fun.
Yeah, and I've got some Manzanita pipes from the 2013 Yosemite Rim Fire.
Grab that one right there that's like 3D.
This is a Manzanita pipe too, I think.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh wow. So what is Manzanita?
It is.
It's a brush.
It's
or
a bush shrub. Yeah, it's very very beautiful, and it has a red. I don't think I have any of the red ones. It's got red veins going up it. Here's another cool. This is ironwood with some teeth.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow, that's so cool.
So the ironwood is incredibly hard.
Oh yeah.
And even when we're in the desert, we go out in the desert and we live for 3 months. And we collect things, bones and tree parts and
Free art supplies.
even dirt.
Even
Rocks.
dirt. Yes, we did collect some black glittery dirt.
nights in the basement, my weekends at an all-time low. 'Cause she's holding